Hi, you're with Scott. This is Battery Exhausted, my channel. It's midnight. It's always midnight. This is your right ear and your left ear because we're recording in mono. Before we start the video, I don't have enough subscribers to put my merchandise underneath the video like everybody else. But check out this vegan design t-shirt that I made. It's a pretty cool design, isn't it? It says vegan. So if you're vegan, get the t-shirt, follow the link below and use code SWEET to get 20% off. Promo code SWEET to get 20% off for a limited time. It's my design. It says vegan. It's pretty cool. It's not just t-shirts. You can have it on leggings and like socks and jumpers and whatever you want. Vegan. It's cool, isn't it? The BBC are a British public service broadcaster funded by the taxpayer and in some ways the government. And I believe they've got an anti-vegan sentiment, and that's because British farmers are very anti-vegan, and British farmers pay a lot of money to the Conservative Party, very involved in the Conservative Party themselves. So as part of that, on the 18th of February, very recently, there's this new piece, Meet the Teenager whose hobby is taxidermy. 16-year-old Sydney Langton spends her free time stuffing birds and foxes. She never condones the killing of animals for taxidermy and would only ever work with creatures that have died of natural causes or been hit by cars. The important thing to note here is that the BBC are trying to present a non-vegan message, which is that animals are objects that you can own, that don't have the same value in terms of respect for life that humans do. And the way they present it, they're very careful to present it because there's taxidermists all over the country. You know, there's people producing these abhorrent sculptures from dead animals. But this one is a girl and she's 16, so she's a much more presentable, likable, soft face for what they're trying to promote, and it becomes harder to attack her. You know, she's not a nasty old man farmer. She's a nice young girl. You know, how can I be mean to this nice young girl who loves animals so much that she wants to stuff them and mount them? And that's the way they do it. And it's also more attractive to a young person, you know, a social media savvy young person who may be forming their opinions, and seeing someone of their own age doing something like this might make it more acceptable within their culture. And that's the attempt here, is to make the owning and use of animals, the exploiting of animals, doesn't matter how they died, doesn't matter whether you shot them yourself or found them dead on the road, you're using their corpses for your own enjoyment and profit. Let's take a look at the video.
Most of the friends I have, they've gotten to the point now where they'll come round my door with something dead they found.
That's funny, isn't it? She's laughing at that. Look at that smile. Something dead they found. See how warped it is. And I'm going to say it directly, this girl has been warped. I don't think it's natural for us to find it funny when you find a dead animal. I saw a dead animal the other day on a walk. I walk with a dog, and I found a dead animal, and I found it really sad. I found it really sad to see that spent corpse. Of course, that's natural. It's nature. I don't know. The animal may have been poisoned by a farmer. That's quite possible. But it certainly wasn't something I found funny. Certainly wasn't something I found funny. I think I've got a little more respect than that. And I don't know about you. And I don't know about standards of taxidermy. But that is not attractive to me. Clearly the eyes have been removed and replaced. Sinister, shining orbs. The fact that you can tell that that was once a beautiful living creature and is now a fixed grotesque. Yeah, you can all have different opinions about art and what's attractive and beautiful. And taxidermy, of course, has historically and culturally been more popular in the past. And I can understand that. But in the modern world, is there a place for this? Is there a place for that in the modern world? Should a 16-year-old be laughing and enjoying the use of dead animal corpses to create grotesque sculptures? But what's in your freezer? Ice cream? Non-vegan, of course. Cream. Subtle, but it's there. No, dead animals, fucking full of them. Well, actually, if you're not a vegan, your freezer may well be full of dead animals, just in a slightly different packaging and form of processing than hers. She keeps roadkill in her freezer. And I query this. That bird there does not look like it was killed on the road. Doesn't look like it's had an impact or been partially crushed by a wheel, does it? But yeah, apparently it's all roadkill. That's what you'd say, isn't it? I mean, if you ran a business, because we'll go on to find out this girl sells these pieces for a range of prices between £50 and £800. So if you're running a business where a dead animal is worth between £50 and £800 to you after you've processed it, I don't know. Would you just wait for things to die on the roads naturally in the woods? Would you go out scouring the woods for dead animals? You probably would, but you could also breed them and kill them because it's part of your profit incentive, or simply encourage others to bring them to you and not ask any questions about where they got them, as it's part of your profit incentive.
I always had a fascination in dead animals.
Okay, she always had a fascination in dead animals, which, as we all know, should be with dead animals, but we're not going to pick her up on her grammar, really. That's not the thing that we're most concerned with. Because I am concerned that a young girl like this should find pleasure in the reconstitution of dead animals.
I remember when I was about 6 years old, I was on the way to school and I saw a dead hedgehog on the road, and for some reason I was really fascinated by it.
And there we go again. Something that she says that concerns me immediately is she found a dead hedgehog on the road and she was fascinated by it. Yeah, things are interesting, but fascinated. It's just the way she talks, the smirk, the smile, the licking the lips, the glee. It's something that concerns. If not trying to be overly rude here or anything, but if that was a child you knew and it was fascinated by dead animals, would it concern you? Is that the sort of behaviour that the serial killers of the world, the psychopaths display? It is, isn't it? That's a behaviour that they display, the dissection of dead animals. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm pretty sure if you look into it, that's something that people like, that sort of, warped, disturbed people are into. Known as the taxidermy girl. It's
quite time consuming. Usually
Sorry, I missed the ability to read that because it went by quite quick. Known as the taxidermy girl, which doesn't get the inverted commas that it should, the hyphens. It's poor grammar by the BBC here. Known as the taxidermy girl, Sydney stuffs a variety of animals. I don't know who knows her as the taxidermy girl. Certainly that honour would probably go to the artist who's famous for producing taxidermy art.
It's quite time consuming. Usually I space it out over the period of 2 days.
Who gives a shit how long it takes? I mean, look at it. It's fucking horrendous. Would you want that in your house? No, you fucking wouldn't. And it's not just because she's not a particularly skilled taxidermist. She's not at the high end of her art there. It's because the pieces themselves are just grotesque. They have this naturalness to them. They look distorted and almost like their life has been squeezed out of them, don't they? They look unhappy. I mean, they are just dead corpses after all, but there's something unpleasant about them, isn't there?
Some people, they don't like it. They think it's a bit weird, but...
Okay, wait. It's not that I think it's weird. See, this is another thing. You see, this is the way they do it. This is their sanitising of it and their warping of the information to give it you in a certain way. Some people don't like it. They think it's a bit weird, right? So that's the people that don't like it. They think it's weird. And it's okay to think things are weird in life. Fuck you if you think I'm weird. I'll do what I want. I'll be me. That's a message we're told a lot, People are all different, and so it's a bit weird, so don't be mean to her because she's doing something that you think is a bit weird. But no, it's not that. It's not that I think it's a bit weird. It's that I think it's distasteful, abhorrent, and I think it projects an unhealthy message about the ownership of animals and the respect that living creatures deserve. That's what I think. It's not that I think it's weird. I do weird shit. Yeah, I do weird shit. I did ASMR back before tapping on a fucking glass was popular. And I do weird shit. Yeah, but this girl, she's not doing something that I think is weird. She's doing something that I think is unethical and distasteful. But they won't present my side of the debate like that. She doesn't present. It's just some people think it's weird, and fuck you if you think I'm weird. That's a message that we all understand.
Weird, but it's just a shame to leave anything on the side of the road to get.
Finally, I'd agree with something. It is a shame to leave it on the side of the road. It's a shame to kill it in the first place with your car. I agree with that. But this concept comes up again of waste. It's a shame to leave it to get wasted. So I hope that she makes a fantastic display of her parents when they die, because otherwise, what a waste it would be to bury them respectfully.
To get wasted, because all the animals I have are ethically sourced.
How does she know that? Ethically sourced? This is what we heard about the squirrels, wasn't it? It'd be more ethical if we killed them. How does she know they're ethically sourced? I don't know. How do we have any confidence in what she says? I don't know. But there's a stuffed duck.
Even though it's dead, it's still a beautiful animal. So.
It was a beautiful animal, and now it's dead. It's the corpse of a beautiful animal.
So I think it's about the art and about the appreciation of the life the animal had.
Well, again, rather than letting it go to waste, I'll finish the sentence for her there. If it's about art, then there are far more sophisticated and beautiful ways to project an appreciation of animal life than stuffing dead animals. So I think you need to go to art school and to learn about art, whatever your name is, because you've clearly misinterpreted the ability of art to project an appreciation of something, because you feel that stuffing dead corpses is about art and appreciation of life. Whereas I think it's about her own selfish will to make money. And as she said, when she was very young, she found it interesting. Something that was personal to her that she found interesting. So I don't think it's about the life the animal had. I think it's about her fascination with dead things. She's just covering that over with a generic statement of positivity. That, again, young girl talking about art and appreciation of life. How am I attacking her? Do you see how they present this? They've made it a hard thing to attack, as hard as they think they can. And they're presenting it to the youth to try and sell it to them.
Rather than letting it go to waste.
Bye-bye. I feel sorry for her. She's obviously been fed some very strange ideas, and I wonder if the people around her are the people who are feeding her those ideas. I don't know. But that's distasteful. And it brings us on to this next video, which is from 2 years ago now, 29th of April. Meet the Vegan Taxidermist. So the BBC, not just content with presenting taxidermy as something for the youth of today, it's now attempting to claim that taxidermy is vegan. Now, I will tell you for a fact that taxidermy is not vegan. Veganism means that you do not exploit animals for your own benefit. It's not a diet. It's not a lifestyle choice. It's an ideology. And if you follow the ideology, then it precludes you from using the corpses of dead animals for your own enjoyment, for your own profit. So you cannot be a vegan taxidermist. You can eat a vegan diet and stuff dead animals and sell them, and then you're not vegan. You claim to be, and you eat a vegan diet, but you're not really vegan because you're exploiting animals, dead or otherwise. Because, of course, by selling dead animals, you're creating a demand for dead animals, which will lead to an increase in the breeding of or the killing of animals to supply that demand. It's simple. So let's have a little look at 52 seconds of Nicola Hebson, who I hope after 2017 has grown out of this horrific distortion of values so as to believe that she can be a vegan taxidermist. Nicola is a vegan taxidermist, it says. It said it. Nicola is a vegan taxidermist. So, as I've just broken that down already, I'm not going to go over that again. No, she's not.
Just saw roadkill, and I just thought, I wonder if you could recycle it somehow.
I just saw roadkill, and I thought, I wonder if you could recycle it anyway. So that's not really a vegan starting point, is it? Because if you really were a vegan, you wouldn't see roadkill and think about recycling it. You'd see roadkill and think about how you could prevent it, wouldn't you? You'd see it as a sad loss of an animal life that was unnecessary, and you'd think, how can I do something to maybe make the roads safer for animals, or to reduce the amount of traffic down certain roads, or to make people more aware that their driving is murdering animals. I don't know. But this girl, she thought, well, maybe you could recycle it into a nice hat, a sort of crazy hat.
Somehow. The biggest thing I've ever taxidermied is a 10-foot python.
Okay, I don't know where you get the corpse of a 10-foot python from, but I don't know. This whole thing is just really fucking off.
You're scared of snakes, aren't you?
Where did you find it?
I was friends with someone that worked in a pet shop.
All right, that's where you get it. They worked in a pet shop and it died. They had it at the pet shop and it died. So there's so much wrong with that. If you're a vegan and you're friends with someone that works at a pet shop, then there's so much wrong with that. I mean, you can be friends with people as vegans and they can do completely non-vegan things, of course. But hanging out there, taking the dead animals off them, it seems a bit wrong, doesn't it? Because pet shops, as we know, are definitely not vegan. They're exploiting animals for profit.
I had it at the pet shop and it died, and they just turned up at my door with it in a big bag.
Oh my days. I would even query about, the treatment of this giant snake, that it died. I would query that. And this statement that it looked like a giant black pudding, again, it's turning the corpse of an animal into an object that you can own, use, and of course, in her cognitive connection there, eat.
It looked like a giant black pudding. I just like the idea.
I'm going to have to just pause that. Look at that. That's horrific, isn't it? It is horrific. You can see the frog, and to pose it in this way, this total disrespect of the life, this sort of playing with the corpse, this turning the corpse into a toy. That's horrific. I just like the idea how something new can come out of death almost. She can't even construct a proper sentence. But yet she can make an abhorrent death sculpture and be praised for it on the BBC News.
How, like, something new can come out of death almost.
Hang that up above your child's bed.
Like, it's like being reborn again, obviously not literally.
It's like being reborn again, obviously not literally, but in the sense that you're not born at all and you're posed and presented as art. I'm going to use inverted commas, but you can't see it. And you're posed, I mean, it is art. Everything that we produce in an artistic context is art. This is just very poor art. It's very bad art. It doesn't have a message. It doesn't say anything. It's not trying to present ideas through the context of art. It's just, how can I use this dead animal in some sort of crazy, kooky way to try and, get a bit of a reaction. It's poor art. It's bad art. And nothing's being reborn, is it? That's a ridiculous thing to say. In fact, it makes more of a statement about the finality of death to stuff something and present it in a stock still, rigid, it's dead and it will be dead forever sort of way.
But in terms of reborn into art, all different kinds of random people buy.
I'm going to leave that one for your comments. I mean, what is that? I want your comments on this particular piece. Put a timestamp, leave your comment. I mean, what is that? All different kinds of random people buy this stuff. I mean, would you buy that? And as long as people are buying it, how can it possibly be vegan?
Stuff. And I have a peddler's license, so
I have a peddler's license, so I just walk the streets.
Walk around the streets and showing my stuff. And
have you ever seen anything more disrespectful than the corpse of a lamb that never got to grow up because it was surplus to the industry that it was born into, that was obviously not strong enough to survive, turned into a sort of shit iPod speaker? I mean, what is that? What is that?
If anyone wants to buy it, they can do. And then I recycle the bones and everything.
Quick little look at her Instagram page or whatever it was. I'm not even going to repeat the frame because they're just trying to help her to promote her business, which is not vegan. And she's turning bones into jewellery. And you can see it there around her neck, a nice piece of jewellery there made out of a jawbone. Something that we could have always been doing for the entirety of our civilization because we've had access to dead animal bones for a long time. And some cultures have done in the past. But as modern people, I don't think we should be trying to reignite the interest in animal bones as jewellery. I don't think it's attractive, and I don't think it has any context or sentiment. Cultural jewelry may have had some sort of social, cultural significance attached to some beliefs, but this doesn't. She just thinks it's, I don't know, I'm not even going to try and second guess what she thinks.
Back into jewelry.
And there you go. And again, the music, it's quirky, it's nice, it's okay. Animals are objects for us to own, and dead animals especially are just like quirky little cute, fun things that vegans recycle. It's got those two words, hasn't it? Vegan and recycle. It's proper ecology, that is. Fucking hell. She's not a vegan, and that's not recycling, okay? You don't need to recycle. No, recycling corpses is not necessary. Let me just say that as a blanket statement. Get the t-shirt. Follow the link in the description below. You can get it on a hoodie. You can get it on other things. It's a cool design. I designed it. The money goes to a real vegan. Or you could just chip in a tip into the tips jar and buy me a coffee. Please share the videos because YouTube's not going to help.
If you got out of here, there are a lot of people who think you'd go start killing people again.
Again? Well, you guys are misinformed. I haven't killed anybody.
You're insane.